Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 248 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh. Today we have a great show in store for you. We have an amazing modern construction, first time on the market, that is that section of Royal Lane that is behind that greenway and wall right at Walsh and Royal. It is a phenomenal modern home you do not want to miss.
And in our second segment today, we're going to talk about rent versus buy. And interest rates going up scared a lot of people, but I want to reassure you and give you some points on why it is better. If you're going to be somewhere at least 5 years, it is much better to buy than rent.
Yeah, and if you did not buy a house and you're now looking at it from 5 years ago, how prices have changed.
Yeah.
That's a lot to think about. Well, so we kind of like to share a little bit about us so you get to know us. Jeff, tell us a little bit about what you were doing this weekend.
Well, this weekend I went to Palm Springs and had a great time. Went with some really good friends, Dan, David, Jeremy, Matt. We all stayed at this one resort, and it's very low key. It's like I didn't even check my phone most of the day.
I know.
I mean, it just was very, very comfortable.
That's awesome. It is one of my favorite places. You did say that this weather was unseasonably warm, which is a little off-putting.
It was weird. The first day was 108 degrees, and then the second day was 103, which even the locals were like, this is not supposed to be this hot in November. So,
That's a lot of sunscreen.
yeah, I had a lot of sunscreen. But I didn't get burned. Look, I
You
didn't get burned.
didn't?
No.
Did you wear your big old sombrero too?
No, I didn't wear that. I just wore caps and a lot of sunscreen.
Oh, makes all the difference in the world.
What you been doing?
So I have fallen into pickleball.
You poor
Say it
thing.
isn't so. I know. So I play at Brookhaven. There's a group of us that play at 6 o'clock in the morning at Cole Park. That's a 5:30 wake up call. And then we've also been handed out to one of the guys also plays out at Las Colinas, which is a really great place to play too.
Oh, nice.
Lots of fun things. We're going to talk about later, so I won't spoil it. But there's some big stuff that has actually happened out at Brookhaven here shortly.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So we're going to talk about Market Watch.
Hey, let's talk about Market Watch because this is when we like to whittle it down and talk about what's happening locally in Dallas County and not get into what's being sensationalized on the news, what talk shows are hitting. We're going to talk about what is really going on.
So the first status that you can put property to in MLS is called Coming Soon, and those were up 15% in Dallas County last week. That's up to 54, and then new active listings were up 6%. There were 471 new active listings in the MLS last week, and then the first status that a contract goes to is traditionally the option period. It's the period where the buyer and the seller negotiate repairs, make sure the buyer's comfortable with the condition, that type of thing. Those were down a little bit. They were down 8%, but there were still 245 houses that went into the option period last week in Dallas County.
And then the next status that a contract will move into after option period has expired and both buyer and seller have agreed to move forward, we're going into the pending status. And that's actually down 26% over last week, which was down 35 units to 101. And then when we look at sold in the last 7 days here in Dallas County, we're talking just a slight reduction over last week, which is 2%. And that's only 5 actual homes at 254. What we are seeing is that mortgage rates have begun to tick up just a hair at 7.779%, and that's for a 30-year conforming loan. We get this information from optimalblue.com. That's a great site that aggregates information from mortgage brokers and banks across the United States, puts them together. One of the things I absolutely love about this site is that you can actually look at jumbos, FHA, VA, and get a really good idea of what's happening. Plus, I love that they actually track it on the graph and you can see the historic data and you can see that even at this rate, we're still not as high as what they have been in years past. Right now, we're actually at the 20-year average or the 22-year average, I believe. So lots of good information. I think the comments below will have that link to it. Check that out and let us know what you think.
And if you'd like that kind of information on any other market, whether it's by zip code, your neighborhood, whatever, we can set that up for you and we'd be happy to do it.
So let's talk about 4529 Royal Lane. This is a 5-bedroom, 4 full, 2 half bath, 3-car garage, just over 6,000 square feet, and it is stunning.
It is. I mean, that the picture you saw, the drive up, is truly the vibe you get when you pull up in front of it. This is a really interesting location. Weston talked about it earlier, and this is one of 5 homes that is off Royal Lane. There's behind a big tall brick wall. You have a green parkway there, and you've got a lot of privacy. And you really do not hear the road because you're on an acre of land, and you're sitting honestly on the back 3/4 of it.
It is perfectly situated on the lot, and it is one of those areas of Dallas where we're seeing tons and tons of people are beginning to migrate to. It has such easy access when you're heading north and south. Whether you need to take the toll road or move over to 35, that's fine. But you also have really great north-south with both Marsh and Midway to get you around some traffic patterns that can be problematic.
And if you need to get to Love Field, this is just probably a 15-minute drive to Love Field, probably 20 minutes to DFW. Really wonderful centralized location. Weston lives not very far from there, so come and be a neighbor.
Come on, let me know. I would love to have you as a neighbor. So let's take a look at what we like to do in this area, because this is one of the times when people who aren't actually from Dallas are looking at the site and they're trying to figure out what is happening. And one of the biggest things that we're seeing right now is that pickleball, as you heard earlier, is becoming extremely popular, and Brookhaven has really grabbed that by the horns. And Brookhaven actually now has, I believe, 33 different courts. They will be hosting the Pickleball Association, Professional Pickleball Association's national tournament here on starting on November the 6th. And that is a really amazing shout out for this community. They've done such a great job with it. It actually started both with tennis and also 2 different golf courses there as well. So
This has always been a really, really attractive place for people that are active, that still want to get, but they don't want to go to they don't want to go to Dallas Country Club and wait 10 years to be in.
Right.
And really a great value for a country club.
It's so funny because it is this area, and we actually, Todd and Tracy just live around the corner. We have them by that house, but in the evenings, the golf carts, and we used to call them goats. They're all kind of like parked all in that area, and this is just everybody driving up in the evening to go to the club. You can go to the driving range, play pickleball, get your courts reserved early.
Go have dinner, go have a cocktail in the bar.
That's great.
This is a really cool pool too.
It is, and you know what the craziest thing is? I found out this summer, there is the adult pool and there is the under 18 pool, and the 2 do not mix.
Good.
It's heaven. It's heaven. Also, what we like in this area is, well, we don't actually have kids, but there are tons and tons of private schools. Actually, this is the Golden Triangle for private schools here in Dallas, I believe.
It really is. Up and down Inwood Road, you have, Hockaday, Green Hill, St. Mark's. They are really, truly in a corridor running north and south. Episcopal School of Dallas is right around the corner from it.
St. Mark's,
Yeah.
Jesuit, all of them. They're all here. And so it is easy to get to these, especially when you live in this area. And last but not least, we want to talk about, let's get the drum roll, please. This is your favorite.
The North Haven Trail.
Yeah.
North Haven Trail is a hike, bike, cycling trail all the way from, it's called Monroe Street, which is way over in the western part of this neighborhood. And this trail goes all the way over to Highway 75, Central Expressway, and they are completing the connections to the big bridge to go across 75. It looks spectacular. If you haven't driven by it, it's really, I think, a great signature piece to our city. It somewhat mimics the Calatrava Bridge downtown.
Yep.
And it's, even though you've been able to go to the other side of 75 very easily for a long time, this is going to make it so much easier, so much less stressful for bicyclists, and certainly less stressful for motorists.
And it's also going to tie into the White Rock Lake and be able to get you there. And that then actually ties into the Santa Fe Trail and gets you all the way to Deep Ellum. So that would be one heck. I would actually have to park a car and drive back. I would not be.
Yeah.
I'd have to go downhill. That's downhill. I would not go uphill. Right? Going over the downhill.
It depends on what section you're at.
I'm only doing that.
Okay.
Only
I don't
doing
think
that.
you can do the whole thing. You're just going to have to get up enough inertia to have your bike carry you up the hill and then get to the top, and then you can change gears and just pedal.
Sounds like that's way too dangerous.
Anyway.
All right. 4529 Royal Lane. As we said, this is a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 2-half pool, 3-car garage, just over 6,000 square feet.
And this has such an amazing drive-up feel to it. You can see the modern style garage doors with the lighting behind them. This is your entryway, and it's such a warm entryway to me. But it's just different from so many other homes out there. You have this really cool foyer, 15-foot ceilings in the foyer. You walk into the living room here and you've got 20-foot ceilings.
So this is the great room. This great room is, emphasize, great. It has 3 sides of glass, juts out and looks over the pool, but then you can actually pull back and you have a really amazing fireplace, and I believe that's a 6-foot fireplace. And when you pivot around, you can see all the other windows that are actually over the dining room, and there's actually a good connection for a really large chandelier at the homeowner's choice.
And what you get these really great windows that give you a lot of light, but the way the home was constructed, you really don't have any of that direct light from any season of the year that just beats into the house. It's all on the front of the home, but you can see the light in these homes, and there's really not that many lights on.
There isn't. What's really amazing too is that these cabinets are all mahogany, as is the front door, and it has built-in wine and cocktail bar on the side, and it actually opens up to really large patio. This is one of 3 fireplaces, and the material is called Neolith. All 3 materials look completely different. This is more of a core 10-foot material. This is actually the galley, and this is really great because this is constructed in a way that allows for an artist to be exhibited, and then it allows you to walk into either the 3-bedroom or also into the master on this side.
And those big windows are looking out over the pool. The pool is 65 feet long, 25 feet wide, and varies in depth from 3.5 feet to 5 feet. Has a huge hot tub on it that will seat probably 20 people.
And who doesn't need a huge walk-in bathroom, jetted jacuzzi, separate sinks, water closet there on the left-hand side. One of the things about the flooring is that it's all heated through the flooring. That shower is also a steam shower. And the mahogany cabinets there behind, that is a lighted up vanity, custom for having some apply makeup.
And this is the closet that I just would love to have. There's hanging all behind the mirrors there, but you've got all the mirrors you need. You transfer into the main office of the house, and this is right off of the foyer, right off the entryway. So if you have people that need to come and meet at your house, you don't have to take them through your house. You just drag them right there.
These are the bedrooms that are on the front side of the house. They're all substantial. They're all also ensuite. And each one of them, as you can see, has their very own flavor, which is really, really well done. One of the exciting things about this house also is that it has a au pair, a mother-in-law, a second office, flex space there towards the end of the garage.
And this is the view from the cabana toward the back of the house. And again, it's wonderfully lit. The pool has a built-in cleaner system where you don't need the Polaris type cleaner. It automatically happens, and you get this kind of view every night. 26
of your closest friends there in the hot tub having drinks after the long day. Perfect cabana also with built-in kitchen, all the accoutrements that you need. There's also an outdoor shower associated with this cabana and a half bath as well towards the main house. As you can see, this 1-acre tract is not taken up by the house cabana or the pool. There is still plenty of green space for your 4-legged friends on either side. And to help you see how it fits perfectly in the dusk in the evenings, this is what it looks like from an aerial view.
So 4529 Royal, 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom, 3-car garage, built in 2015, a little over 6,000 square feet, and it is priced at $5.495 million, which is about $906 a square foot.
So what we like to do is in the comments, we'll provide you a link that you can actually click on and go look at this property, scroll through all the photos and zoom in and zoom out on that map, share it with your friends and family. And if this is something that you would like to take a look at, let us know and we'd be happy to make that happen.
And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you miss the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. And it's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second segment, episode 248 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we thought we'd talk about rent or buy.
Rent or buy. I can guarantee you that if you're going to be in a home over five years or more, it is always to your advantage to buy a piece of property.
I agree with that. And I don't think it's just because we're in the industry, because I remember when I bought my first house in San Antonio, I bought it new construction. I bought it when it was still Clichy Roads back there. And I have to say that because I bought that house and rates were at 8, because I bought that house at that time, when it was time for me to move to Dallas, it was that nest egg that I had planted 14 years before that allowed me to come to Dallas to set up my life here. And had it not been that, you and I wouldn't be here, because I moved here in 2008 when the market fell out from under me, and I went a year before I had my first paycheck from real estate. And if it hadn't been for that equity, I would not be able to make that transition.
And that is there's kind of two parts to building equity when it comes to a house. I mean, there's the one part that you have in most instances, a fixed rate loan that is 15 years, 20 years, 30 years long, and the payments are amortized over that period. And as you make more and more payments, more and more of that payment goes toward your equity. So the farther you get into the mortgage, the more and more you're going to be building equity.
And the other way you make equity in your loan is by the appreciation of your surrounding areas. As homes begin to sell more, and if you're not familiar with DFW area, especially inside 635 in Dallas, we continually see very strong appreciation values. We've slowed down so that we're not fanatic like we were 18 months ago, which we are all thankful for, but there is still a nice appreciation. So I guess one way to look at it is if you don't buy, you're not getting any equity at all.
That is true. A lot of people will say, "Oh, well, I'm going to rent because, I don't want to pay taxes." And I can guarantee you, the owner of that building is accounting for the taxes in your rent.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. And one of the other ways that you can use your property is, let's say you buy the house 5 years down the road, you're ready to buy something different. You don't have to sell that home in order to necessarily to buy the new one. There are low down payment programs available on second home purchases, on your new primary home. Even if you're converting your other one to rental, you still have that opportunity to rent that house out, continue to gather the appreciation, and let somebody else pay you for that over whatever period of time you have left on it.
And say that you have a house and you want to actually make improvements on it, you have access because you have collateral to actually tap into that. And whether it's a HELOC or a cash out, there are ways for you to get that money and have that money work for you that a renter would not have access to, even come close to it.
I agree. And there are tax advantages still. I know a lot of these changed when the tax laws changed 4 years ago, but you can still write off property taxes. You're still allowed to write off interest on your primary home with some limitations, interest on your secondary home with some limitations, and then if you did convert that to a rental property, all of the taxes you're paying on that transaction then become tax deductible, just like all of the interest that you're paying on whatever investment property you have.
Yeah. And so I'm going to diverge for a second. This isn't part of it, but like if we think about what happened 18 months ago, when buyers were making offers, what was the scenario like? If you weren't in Dallas, what did most people have to experience?
They, as a buyer, you were usually competing with 10 or 15 other offers. You traditionally had to make an offer way over list price, in some instances overpaying for the property because you really wanted that house. That house fit, your lifestyle. And then a lot of times you had people that were waiving their appraisals. They were waiving their option fee periods. They were waiving inspections. That's a tough market to work in. I don't care which position you're in. That's a tough market.
It is. You'll get the house and you get all those benefits we just talked about, but it's still a little nerve-wracking. And one of the things that we kind of want to point out is that is not the scenario right now. Houses still can move in the weekend, but they're not moving in 30 minutes, which is really great. And by move, I mean they're not going under contract. And so you're at a situation now where you can make a full decision. If there's other decision makers that need to weigh in, if it's the first house, this is a great time for you to be stepping into the market. And I think that you have such a great saying when you talk about marry the house and
date the rate.
And I thought that for a while I was like, what is he talking about?
I wish I was the first one that said that.
I know, but it's a good one because if you think about it, if say that today rates are at 7 and 8 and you go under contract, well then turn around and 2 years later they're at 5 1/4, you can refinance.
Absolutely.
It's so early in the loan calculation process that it doesn't make that much of a difference to you, but yet you save so much.
And many lenders are coming up with being very, very creative because that market's become so competitive. But many lenders are saying if you buy today and you refinance anywhere in the next 24 months, we'll waive A, B, and C of the processing on the refinance.
Yep.
There's some cost that'll be associated with it, but they're waiving a lot of that because they do know that they don't know. They think that's what's going to happen like the rest of us.
Right.
One of the other ways that are real interesting right now is you can do this 2-1 buy down.
I was just going to say,
okay. Well,
let's get it. No, I think it's perfect because I don't think that everybody knows that that's actually on the horizon right now and could make a huge difference for you.
It can. ARM loans right now have kind of become a bit attractive again. I think things are settling out in the mortgage market a bit where it's not quite as chaotic as it was for a while. And one of the things that I think is really good also is you really control your long-term costs when you're buying a home because your payment, being your principal and interest, is going to stay the same for the term of your loan.
Right.
Your property taxes might go up, your cost of insurance might go up, but those are also factors you are going to be paying if you're renting a property somewhere because again, that owner is taking all of that into consideration when he is determining rent rates on those homes, apartments, whatever.
The one thing that is not calculated in a mortgage that is calculated when is your rental when it comes for renewal is the needs and demand. And when that really gets outstripped, that's when we see, $300 and $400 a month price increases in rent. So these are things that you can't control, and suddenly you're having to think about moving further out. Maybe all of a sudden you're looking at Roanoke, or you decided that Salina now is where you have to go, and now you've tacked on a 45-minute commute. So these are things that we're not trying to we're just trying to make it well aware of what's happening because there was a newscast that's very, very popular in the morning that said that this was the absolute worst time to buy, and it kind of triggered this discussion today to say, wait a second, let's unsensationalize this. We don't have shareholders to appease. We don't have advertisers to make happy. Let's just nuts and bolts and talk about our neighborhoods and what we're seeing here locally.
So I hope you found this helpful. If there's any other detail you'd like around it, or if there's any other topics you'd like for us to share and give you some information on, just put them in the comments below. We would be happy to have that happen.
And just remember, we want to be realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.